And a very good evening, everyone, on this Wednesday, November 16th. It is the Varsity Link Coaches Corner. We are broadcasting live from MJ's on Route 66 in Neptune. Kevin Williams, along with Bob Batters and Ed Sarluka, spending the next hour or so with you talking Shore Conference high school football. Tonight's featured club, the Bulldogs of Rumson, who in dramatic fashion won a 7th state sectional championship last week, and are one of 3 teams still playing in the NJSI AA playoffs. We're down to 3. We started, what would you say, 24, 25, yeah, 21 public schools, and I think 24, 25 teams, and we're down to 3 that are still competing for state championships, and 2 of them seeking the first ever public school group championships, and we'll certainly have plenty of time to delve into that. And we'll save the dramatics of the Rumson game for when we get Coach Jeremy Schulte up here, and we'll also talk with a couple of his outstanding seniors. Ed, you want to pronounce Luke's last name?
Mikolajczyk. Mikolajczyk. Lychek.
There you go.
I was close.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
You told him he's not going to get it right.
I practiced all day. I practiced.
Yeah. Ed never misses an Italian name, but you give him one with Z's and Y's and K's, it's a different story, man.
He did. He looked at it with big old eyes.
And we'll be talking with Luke and Julian Devlin, a couple of their outstanding seniors. They'll be up with us a little bit later on. We'll have some fun with them and talk a little football. And, Bob, it's just hard to believe we're sitting here the 16th of November, and not counting the few teams that are playing on Thanksgiving Day. There's still a few in and around there. There's still a few teams playing, but we have 3 Shore Conference teams. Yeah. 3 Shore Conference teams left. Of course, Red Bank Catholic, Toms River North, and Rumson with their annual pilgrimage to another sectional championship, which, again, we'll get into in a bit. Toms River North you were at the game last Friday night, and I mean, they were dominating. That was the game they wanted to avenge a loss from last year to Kingsway, and not only did they win it and avenge it, but they put an asterisk next to it, in which they completely dominated the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you talk about the redemption story and, what would be the feel-good story for Toms River North, and that was certainly the case Friday night. They didn't just beat Kingsway. Like, they beat Kingsway down. Like, that was not a close game at all. And if there wasn't a couple instances where it was just some untimely penalties and there was an instance where it was a muff punt, like that game could have easily been 56-0. Like, that's how good they were. Ran for over 500 yards on the ground, only attempted 3 passes. It just, from the start of that game, they put their foot down and they didn't let up. And it was one of the more impressive championship game performances I've seen in a very long time. That was something else. And that's a team that, still had something to prove, still does if you talk to those guys, but they really wanted that game. That's a calendar year to wait to get back. They did it, and they won in emphatic fashion. So there's no other way to say it than it was just extremely impressive. And, 12-0, and that's also the 7th sectional championship for the Mariners, first since 2015. So that's a really good team, and I'm excited to see what they can do these next potentially couple weeks.
When we had Dave Ozowitz on beginning of the year, I said, well, what are you looking forward to in that Group 5 section? And the first school he mentioned was Edison.
Yeah.
And sure enough, that's who they drew now in the state semis, and he'll get his chance.
Yeah, and Edison 7-3 on the season. They beat Lenape in that Central Jersey Group 5 championship game, 28-14. So they will play on Saturday at Cherokee High School. So all the group semifinals are at neutral sites. The Central versus South sectional champions are at at Cherokee Saturday and Sunday, and then the North Jersey teams are up at Franklin High School. So we got Toms North on Saturday, Rumson on Sunday, and away we go. See if we can get to the title game for both of them.
By the way, put me down for the fact that I like the neutral sites for these games. Mm-hmm. I don't like the home games for this round of the states.
Yeah, well, I think in going with how the NJSA operates across the board in all their other sports, the group semifinals aren't their neutral site games, I'm pretty sure, in every sport. And also the championship games are. So, yeah, they're just, with this being the first year of the group championships for public schools, it's different, but they have the roadmap in a sense
Yeah.
for some of these things because all the other sports that played out the group champions. So,
Right.
yeah, the
And-
neutral site one is good.
And it's different fields, too. Franklin High
Yes.
School, and brand new high school up north, are newly redone.
Yes.
And Cherokee, again, tremendous facilities down in South Jersey. They picked the right sites, I think.
It's good. A little bit of a far drive for
Yeah,
some of
well.
the teams, but I know at this point you're willing to make that drive.
Oh, yeah.
You're still playing. But, yeah, I haven't covered a couple games. Both times I've been at Cherokee covering games, they've been like epic innings. We were just talking about that off the air. So hopefully we get a couple more of those this weekend.
By the way, if you are interested in going to the public school semifinals, just a reminder, you've got to buy your tickets in advance through the NJSI AA.
Any of the games, even
Yeah,
if you're going to a non-public
right.
semifinal, these
Yeah.
playoff games now, you have to buy those through the NJSA website.
You show up with cash at the gate on this weekend, and you're not getting in unless somebody puts it in their pocket and says,
if you got enough cash, I'm pretty sure you can get
yeah.
in. But
What'll 500 get me? Will it get me a good seat? So we have –
One thing it won't get you is a Taylor Swift ticket.
500 might get you in the game.
Yeah, that's right. So we have Toms River North playing Saturday at 5:30.
Yes.
And then Rumson plays Sunday at 11 a.m. Hopefully it'll be a little warmer, and they'll have the sunshine. Listen, this is going to be, well, it was chilly last weekend, but this is going to feel like football weather. I mean, it's going to be cold this weekend.
First weekend, right?
Yeah.
Where the cold weather hits.
Look, in just about 20 years covering shore conference sports, especially in football, I've never once escaped the season without one ridiculously freezing game. So as it gets later in the year, we don't have it. I get a little nervous because when is this thing going to happen? Is it going to be the state finals where it's 8 degrees?
And Friday night, Red Bank Catholic will host Holy Spirit in the non-public Group B semifinals. And then the other game there is St. Joseph Hamilton and DePaul. DePaul.
DePaul, yes.
And then those winners will play the following Friday, and that is at MetLife Stadium.
Correct.
So I wanted to throw this at you. Mm-hmm. Holy Spirit, don't they always play – who do they play? Millville on Thanksgiving? Don't they have it or did they not do that anymore? Didn't they always play somebody or Atlantic City or something?
Traditionally, yes. I don't know if it was St. Joe's Hamilton
Okay.
or one of those.
But they always
They
played
did
at
have a Thanksgiving game,
I
yeah.
assume they don't, because if they win, they would play next Friday.
I'm pretty sure they do not.
Yeah, okay. I just wonder. It's not a big deal.
I know. I got to check now.
By the way, Kevin, did you tell Bob that he's got to go up on Sunday to cover the Buffalo Bills on Sunday if he's talking about weather?
What's the forecast?
21 inches of snow.
I think it was
is the forecast.
31.
31 inches.
31 inches of snow in Buffalo this weekend.
That whole up there is it's going to be a mess.
It's not even points. If you gain 15 yards, you win the game.
Yeah. And I'm sure there'll be a little wind as well, by the way. Yeah.
that'll be
Be happy you don't work for the Buffalo Sports Network.
a little frigid up there.
So those are the three teams that are left. I'm trying to think about last weekend outside of the games that involve those teams.
They do. Holy Spirit plays Atlantic City.
So that game will get
Scheduled for
moved if they win. If
Yes.
they beat Red Bank
Exactly,
Catholic.
yeah.
I thought so. I
did.
I always thought they played on.
Holy Spirit Atlantic City.
Yeah, I think that's that game goes back a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I was normally at this time we sort of recap the Jeep Store top 10. And again, we're at that. You did do a top 10. You put it up. It's on shoresportsnetwork.com. I don't want to get into a long debate on it. Really, the big discussion, and it's kind of been setting itself up week after week after week, and now we're getting closer, is the race for number one. Now listen, these schools want to win state titles. That's what they want. They want that trophy state title. In any media poll, number one is for the most part, a mythical title, right? We debate it. We do give a nice trophy out, which Red Bank Catholic is still holding on to, which we got to get back from them, regardless of what happens, because we have to re-engrave it. But Red Bank Catholic was your preseason number one. Toms River North was number two. They've done their part. RBC's only loss came to
Seton Hall Prep.
A very good team, still alive in the
and I wrote this today. The loss didn't look great. Seton Prep lost 4 games in a row, but then they got it right, beat Pope John,
Yeah.
and then beat St. Joe's Montvale. So now they're one of the Final 4 in non-public A.
So that's their only
Yes.
loss. So it's been RBC and Toms River North, and let's play the game of they win out. RBC is going to win 2 more games, win the parochial B title, right? The B title. Toms River North is going to win the first ever Group 5 championship, and Group 5 is the bigger schools in the history of New Jersey high school football. North is going to be undefeated. RBC is going to have the 1 loss. For the body of their work, I don't think any can argue RBC played a much more challenging schedule.
But
as the guy who
has been the whole thing all year.
Where do we go? I mean, listen, it's not even worth it because something may happen that makes all of the debate irrelevant.
Believe me, I've been running through all these scenarios.
I know you have.
It's not.
I know you have.
It'll probably be a difficult decision. I'll figure out when that time comes. But this gap is razor thin. Like it's really
it is.
Been closed ever since. Look, RBC plays the tougher schedule, that's without question. But North is just, it's not even close.
Record-breaking year.
Yeah.
No team has scored more points in short conference history in 12 games. So you actually can compare apples to apples in that because they haven't played the 13th to 14th yet. So it's not going to be for myself and whoever else ranks the teams in the Shore. Yeah, it's not going to be fun.
It's not going to be fun.
Someone's going to be unhappy. Last year was probably worse with 3 teams.
3 teams.
One thing we can guarantee: there will not be a tie for the top spot.
No, we don't.
I just said that.
Don't speak that into existence.
The word that does not exist in Bob Batter's Shore Sports Network grammar is co. There's no co.
No,
there is no co.
A very look. If there's a rare occasion, we consider it, but in general, no. Definitely not number 1.
I will say this, just for the sake of what's interesting, NJ.com. For the first time, right? Didn't they put North ahead?
They jumped North over. So
over
Tom's
RBC
right now is number 3 in the state.
And the number 1 public school.
Yeah. RBC down to number 4. So
all right. Listen.
I think they're setting it up. I think this change was
debate
set
is good.
up for 2 weeks.
I will again not to get into the nuances of ranking, but when you're ranking the state versus a specific conference, it's different.
Yeah.
You look at things in a different manner. But look, they're both great teams, and if they win out, I'm going to be the one with the problem, not those guys. So.
All right, I'm gonna throw one more thing, and I know Ed wants to talk about something that happened yesterday, but I don't want to make a big deal of it, but I thought it was fun. The regional tournament final games last Thursday, and you saw Red Bank Regional beat Brick Memorial very impressively, and Red Bank played really well down the stretch. And I saw Wall, a team that 5-6 weeks ago was still looking for a win, beat Pinelands to win their regional tournament. Steve Meyer and I are MacGyver. We were at Wall for that game, and what I just thought was impressive about it was sometimes we say, this game doesn't mean anything because we're media people and well, guess what? To the people who played in that game, those games meant something. To the coaches, to the players, to the parents, to the fans, and that's what we play the game for. It's for them, not for us. I was so impressed with the Pinelands fan support for that game.
They brought a lot of people.
They come from Tuckerton, man. That's like, an overnight bag trip, right? And they packed the bleachers, and they have a pep band that played from the first minute they got there till after the game. They never stopped. They had a blast. That's what football is about, right?
And look, there's a lot of eye rolling when it came out about these regional tournaments and yada yada and some jokes. But like for the teams that we're not going to have to make the playoffs, but we're still solid teams. Like you look at Red Bank as a perfect example. Started 0-2, lost to Monmouth Regional and Brick Memorial. That seems like that's not the same team as was on the field last Thursday. That's a really good team. They got a chance to get to 8 wins if they can beat Long Branch on Thanksgiving. So that's positive for that. Give your seniors some more games. Just give your team. It's not like you're a 0-win, 1-win team and like you don't want to play any more games. You just let's maybe get a consolation game and get out of here. These are teams that feel like they can continue to play and win. So from that standpoint, at least talking to the players in those games, they liked it.
Yeah, they
again,
had
it's
fun.
not like it's not a miserable situation where you're like we're done here. We're going to get blown out. They're teams that, as we saw, went on and made some more of their season, especially Wall.
Yeah,
showed the strength of that division. I mean, they were.
Over.
They literally couldn't buy a win, and now they're 4-6. Chance to get to 5-6 if they can beat Manasquan and Thanksgiving, and that changes things. That can set you up for next year and all those things that go along with it.
So if I ever say meaningless game publicly, you have permission to smack me, because it's not. It means something to the people involved, and at the end of the day, that's what high school sports is supposed to be about.
Completely agree.
It's not us, right, Ed?
I agree.
Yeah.
I was there, and I
Yeah.
think both teams went into that game on winning streak, and it was a good football game, and I
Yeah.
give credit to Red Bank. They finished off the season with what?
They still have one more game left on
Right,
Thanksgiving.
right,
They played really well.
They've got a nice winning streak
They're
going, and
only-
seven wins, right?
Their only loss in those past 7 games was to Ocean. That's
Right.
like a few
Right.
points in that game. So
Ed, yesterday something happened around the shore?
Yeah, I was happy to attend the prayer vigils for injured star Aaron Van Treese, who is now up in Kessler Institute in West Orange in the rehab center. They have moved him out of the hospital into the rehab center. So yesterday, under the direction of Joe Leone, who has got behind this movement, the family, so to speak, movement, forget about me, I love you. And a lot of teams are participating in that and will next year also. But anyway, they had a prayer vigil at St. Dennis Church in Manasquan.
which is where Aaron Van Treese is from.
Exactly. He's from Manasquan. They had a mass at 7:30 in the morning, which I attended. All day they had people coming in to say prayers. And then they had another mass at 7 p.m. at night, which I also attended with my wife. And it was just a tremendous outpouring of love and prayer. They streamed the services directly to Aaron in his hospital bed up there at Kessler. And that was a tremendous, at the end of the mass, the priest brought everybody up right in front of the camera, so he saw everybody. People said hello to him. There were a lot of St. John Vianney players that attended both masses. And, it was a touching, tribute to Aaron, and he's making progress. That's all I could say. He is making progress. He's getting a little feeling back, and
a great attitude.
We hope for the best. Oh, tremendous attitude.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's great to see the community come together.
They
for something
did.
like that.
They did.
Very nice, Ed. Thank you for that. We're going to take a break and get into the bones of our show, and that is talking Rumson Bulldog football, and we'll do that right after this with Coach Jeremy Schulte. You're watching the Varsity Link Coaches Corner on the Shore Sports Network. And welcome back. This is the Varsity Link Coaches Corner. We're broadcasting live from MJ's on Route 66 in Neptune. Ed and I, Bob never eats. He eats at home, actually. I don't think he's on a starvation.
A couple times. I usually don't. I don't know
You
why.
usually don't. And Ed and I both went with the chicken
Sliders.
sliders. I had bacon, he didn't. You got to have bacon.
I agree with you.
Yeah, if you're gonna eat, you got to have bacon.
If they give you the bacon option, there is no
Oh,
option.
it's not even an option.
you
Come
just
on.
take it.
Listen, whatever. But it's a great place. They've been great hosts all season long. We've really enjoyed being here. We're also enjoying getting to chat for the first time in this forum with the first year, which sounds kind of funny because it seems like he's been there forever, and he has, but the first year head coach of the Rumson Fairhaven Bulldogs, and that, of course, is Jeremy Schulte, who last week saw his team really rally to beat Raritan 34-27 in double overtime and claim the 7th sectional title in school history. And they're all since, 2010?
All since 2010.
Which is kind of amazing.
And 9 straight appearances in the sectional championship.
Talk about consistency. I mean, remember, you're turning kids over every year, but Rumson has really built what is one of the premier programs in all of New Jersey, and certainly Group 2 schools, and they will be playing Willingboro on Sunday. We'll get into that, but first, Coach, we want to say thank you very much for joining us on a Wednesday night, and really good to see you.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
You know, it's funny. We've never been able to have you guys on your practice schedule. So, look,
Yeah.
now we know. All it
Yep.
takes
Yeah.
is the extra games, and you guys just win a sectional title. You
I'm
guys
fine.
are pretty good at that. So you
I'm
hold
fine
up your
with
end of the
that.
bargain.
If-
We're hold up ours.
If that's what it'll take, I'm fine with that every year. I'll take it.
You know, going back to Friday, and that's an epic win. And I can't imagine what your mind is like when that's all happening. But how long did it take you after the game to really kind of be able to sit back and appreciate what happened and the way it all went down?
Probably on Sunday when I went back and actually looked at the film.
Mm-hmm.
It took a little time because, I mean, everybody said it. We're kind of not expected to win it going into the fourth quarter, being down 17. And, you know, it was a lot to kind of take in. And it was awesome. It was really a fun time.
Special moment, though, at the time, like on that field. Like, we have a picture here. It's like, as the time goes off, hands up in the air. Like, that's to win a championship, awesome. But, like, the way you guys win everything, like, what was that moment like on the field, especially for a group that, like, you guys were right there last year and lost the championship game. So you talk about North like that, same thing, a whole year to get back there. That must have been pretty great for everyone involved.
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, we told these guys since the beginning of the year they had a real chance to do something special this year, and they were able to do that. So it's great to still be playing and have a chance to keep it going against Willingboro.
Jeremy, I want to go back to the beginning, okay? What has the transition been like from the minute Dad said, I'm hanging him up as the head coach, to you taking over? What has that transition meant to you?
It's been a few less phone calls and text messages and stuff like that. I mean, I've been in the building for a little while now, the whole time that he's been the head coach. So at the beginning, it was a lot of, you know, having to sneak out and send a text message or make a phone call or say, like, hey, what do you want to do here? And kind of as the years went on, he just kind of let me do that stuff anyway. So, I mean, there really hasn't been a huge difference in that. So it's just been, you know, a little bit different on game day and getting prepped for the game and stuff like that.
And before this season, you've been the defensive coordinator. How many years for that? 4 years?
4 years.
4 years defensive coordinator. Now your dad's defensive coordinator. So going along with that, the staff, not a lot of turnover. I mean, that's been the great part about your coaching staff. It's been so cohesive for so many years. I know you guys are really close. Lot of, like, you know, you got some experience on that staff to lean on. So how much easier did that make it in terms of you're the head coach, your dad goes defensive coordinator, but it didn't seem like for anybody, players, coaching staff, there wasn't that much of an adjustment.
No, like you said, we've all been there for a little while, so the kids know us at this point. I mean, even the one new coach that we brought in, actually two guys. One was John Bellavance. He's been one of our freshman coaches since 2007, and Glenn Granger was one of the freshman coaches 2 years ago, so a lot of the juniors know him. So a lot of familiar faces this year, so it made it a lot easier on me.
Kind of a strange season for you. I don't mean you personally, but your team. You open up with two powerhouse American Division programs, Toms River North and Donovan Catholic. First two games, you lose both of them. Then you win 3 in a row. Then you loss, win, and then, of course, the winning couple of games in the state playoffs. You get off to that 0-2 start. You're a first-year head coach. You know, this is not like Texas. They didn't put the for sale signs on your lawn. But, did you feel a little bit of pressure, like, geez, what's going on here? I mean, Rumson, we win.
Not really. I mean, our community's awesome. They understand football. They actually get that aspect of it, and they understand. I mean, against Toms River North, we started 17 kids for the first time, like any sort of varsity experience at all. And we knew that as it went on, Toms River North is obviously, they're the number one public school in the state. Donovan Catholic is a hell of a team. So we knew that those were two tough games, but once we got into, the other publics and stuff like that, we're going to have a little bit more of an opportunity to showcase what we had. And we knew what we had. We just had to kind of refine it a bit.
Let me just follow a real quick follow-up. Was there a win or a time in the season where you won a game in which you kind of felt like, you know what, we're going to be okay. We're fine. We've got a pretty good ball club.
I felt that way after Toms River North. I mean, honestly, you go back and look at it, we scored more points against them than any other team this year, and the closest margin of victory that they've had all year. So we went back and looked at it, and like I said, with all those guys starting, especially a sophomore quarterback, we looked back at that film, and same thing against Donovan Catholic. I mean, we only gave up 2 touchdowns to them defensively, and they blocked one for a touchdown. And, we saw a lot of things from then that we were like, all right, we can build on this. We have something. And we felt the same way after St. Peter's Prep and after Central in the summertime. So we knew what we had. We just had to get it going a little bit. So,
Jeremy, your kids, I'm sure, have to realize how good they have it at Rumson. Your facilities are top-notch, okay? You've got a weight room that is second to none under the directions of Rob Orrock, okay? Every time I go up there, I marvel and going into the weight room and seeing what is available, under his direction. New turf fields last year that they put in on the side behind the football field. I mean, talk about that and what that's meant.
The turf makes it a lot easier to schedule practices, that's for sure. Not have to battle with other teams for that. But, Rob Orrock is a huge, huge reason for why we're in this position every single year. You guys talk about, like, the facilities that they build, but, one thing that we always say is you can build Bobby Flay's kitchen, but if you don't have Bobby Flay in there, it doesn't matter. And, Rob is the best at what he does, and these guys understand it, too. You get guys that come in as freshmen that have never lifted a weight before a day in their life, and by the time they graduate, they're all Americans in strength and conditioning, and it's incredible what he does. And just the support from the community in getting that turf and getting the weight room done and getting all that stuff, it's not lost on the kids. They understand it. They clean that stuff up. Everything is, as tidy as you would expect it. So it's really special to have all that.
The way your offense has been this year is, and I know you guys are, like, you'll be balanced. You'll do what you have to do. But traditionally, you guys are always, it's like, I can't remember the last time you guys didn't have a 1,000-yard tailback. It's kind of the nature of what you guys do. Been a little bit different this year. I know a lot of new offensive linemen, some new guys in the backfield, and that's come along. But, man, your sophomore quarterback, Owen O'Toole, from the first game, has just played incredible. And, I don't know, to me, going all the way back to, the Mike Roberto years, you guys throwing the ball this much probably. And he, in a championship game, he's sitting back there with down 2-3 scores, just throwing darts and playing with poise. Just how about his development and the identity that your offense has taken with him kind of breaking out as the season's gone along?
That's funny. Mike Roberto actually works with him in the offseason, so it's kind of perfect. So Mike's been telling me for the past year, he's like, you got this kid. He's going to be really good. Yeah. But it's just been a great job with John Corneliuson, too. He's our OC and QB coach. And, him and I have talked about it, too. Like you said, we've always had that 1,000-yard rusher. We've always been able to just run, and be fine. And he even said, he's like, we just can't do that this year. That's not what we're built on. And when we have a quarterback like Owen and receivers like Scotty, Cole Cash, and Nick Rigby, Will Rader, Marcus Brown, you got those guys all over the place. That helps, too. There's a lot of weapons in the skill positions that really help Owen, and I think he's more than comfortable throwing to those guys.
Yeah, he's looked pretty good this year.
Okay, this week, I think your defense has got to come to play. Okay? You're facing a Willingboro team that put up 50 against Point Pleasant Borough, who was at the time undefeated. Okay? They also gave up 30, but scoring 50 points is not easy. I don't care how bad the other opponent is, and they were certainly not bad, Point Borough. So what do we do defensively to stop this freshman quarterback?
They run the ball more than anything. So, that's one of those things that we have to look at and make sure that they're, what they want to do, we want to try to take away. Whether it's they come in and they want to throw the ball, we want to try to stop that from happening. If they come in and they're going to want to run it, then we want to make sure that we're prepared for that. So about being balanced and just knowing what our game plan is going to be and seeing what they're going to throw at us.
I'm sure you've seen tons of film and stuff like that. They were 1-5, and then they won 5 in a row. So what happened with their team? Were they in a little similar situation to you? Now they do have a freshman quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They needed time just for those guys to get their feet wet?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you look at their roster, and it's very, very, very similar to ours. A lot of key positions is, younger guys, maybe some first-year starters as seniors, things like that, across the board for them. I mean, very similar up front offensively. I think it'll be a good game. It's a good matchup for both teams. I mean, it's going to be a physical game, but they're a really good team. We said before the playoffs started, kind of doing the numbers and stuff like that, and we kind of want Willingboro to be on the other side of that bracket, so that makes it a little bit easier for us, and luckily that happened. So.
Yeah, they got a really good running back in Derek Bryant.
They
by
do.
the way, over 1,200 yards.
I mean, when you get to the state semifinals, they're all good teams, but
Yeah.
a Willingboro team that 6-5, but you can't pay attention to that record, obviously. Same thing, you guys on the other side, you have 2 undefeated teams squaring off in Caldwell and Westwood. So excited for the challenge, I'm sure, is an understatement, but the ability to be in position to play for the first ever public group championship in Group 2. How exciting is that, especially because you guys have been at or near the top for so long. So in this first year, it seems fitting that you guys are in position to be one of the teams to take it home. So just tell me about this whole thing. It's new, and you guys are right in there.
Yeah, we kind of feel the same way. This is one of those things, I don't know. I kind of feel like this is a game that we're meant for. Mm-hmm. It's what were they calling it? The Bowl Championship a few years ago.
Yeah.
We got to play in that in the first year and win it up at MetLife, which was awesome against Woodrow. So it's awesome. Like I said before, we told these guys all year, you have a chance to do something special, do something that people aren't expecting you to do. And, we've done that so far. So we're pretty happy about that. I mean, these guys have done a tremendous job all year, just buying into what we've been telling them and following the game plan and just being warriors every week. So we're super proud of them.
How do you feel about the neutral site? Nothing you could do.
Well, I'd rather play at home, but that's not.
But it's
we're playing in this game. I'm happy about that.
Exactly.
Let's put it
it's going
that
to be
way.
an early morning Sunday, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's an hour and a half ride for us, but it is what it is. That's not an excuse for anything. So it's better than not playing in the game.
You'd rather be taking that ride than having breakfast on Sunday morning.
100%. I'll take it any day of the week.
Tell us a little bit about the 2 guys we're going to talk with in just a second. The 2 of your seniors.
They're outstanding. I mean, Luke has come on this year and just been not unexpected in the slightest bit whatsoever from us, but, he was kind of behind some really good guys last year at linebacker and in the secondary and stuff, and filled right in right away. And Julian, as you guys know, I mean, we've been to a platoon for years, and Julian has started every game both ways for the entire season. He's the first guy.
I was going to say, when was the last time that happened?
Taylor Brown in 2009.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And you know what? They've just been awesome. You never hear a complaint from either one of them. They both just show up every day. Natural-born leaders, not the loudest guys on the field all the time, but they are when they need to be, and it's been fun watching both of them grow this year.
You'll take 100 of those guys every day.
You give me 100 of those too?
See, Luke strikes me as a little bit of a happy-go-lucky guy with a smile. Julian is the guy I just don't want to piss off. That's it.
He hasn't smiled once. He's facing us.
Yeah, I mean,
it ain't going to get any better when you answer Ed's questions.
One of the nicest kids in the entire world, but I totally agree with you. I wouldn't want him mad at me either.
There you go. All right. So
he's not weak. Let's put it that way.
The old, savage on the field, gentleman off it.
Oh,
you always love that.
Oh yeah, definition of it.
You guys have a lot of kids like that over the years.
I mean that's kind of our MO. I tell the guys all the time. I love how nice they are. I mean, one of the best moments of the season for me was after we were leaving St. Peter's Prep. Their maintenance guy comes over and he goes, you know what, in 20 years I've never seen a team leave a place cleaner than they found it. And you know what, if we can do that every day and then win some football games, that's all I can ask for as a coach. So
well, it's been a very interesting first season for you, and the bottom line is this: you're still playing, which is a testament to you and your staff and your players and your program, and we really enjoyed getting the opportunity to speak with you. By the way, another coach I put on the all-interview team. right? How good
I'm
is
telling
it?
you, we've been fortunate the last
Tell
2
you
years.
what.
Like these shows have
I
been,
guess the
have been
dumb
awesome.
coaches are left, like they're gone. Because
Well, they turn us down.
that's
don't wanna
true.
come
They
on.
don't want to be on. Jeremy, thank you so much.
No, thanks for
we're
having
looking
me.
forward to chatting with your guys right after this break, and of course, send our regards to your dad.
Of course.
For us.
Hey, he's probably watching right now.
Yeah,
The
good-
legend.
Yeah.
Good
He's
luck.
the best.
Good luck Sunday. Good luck
Thank you.
Sunday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, that was Jeremy Schulte, the first-year head coach at Rumson Fairhaven, and his team still playing football. And we're going to bring up the smiling guy and the guy that you don't want to tick off right after this. You're watching the Varsity Link Coaches Corner on the Shore Sports Network.
Hello and welcome back to MJ's Restaurant in Neptune. It's the Week 12 Varsity Link Coaches Corner here on the Shore Sports Network. Talking Rumson Fairhaven football, one of 3 Shore Conference teams left in the state playoffs, and that's because they pulled off one of the most epic victories you're going to see. 34-27 in double overtime over Raritan to win the South Jersey Group 2 title. And right now we're joined by 2 of their outstanding seniors, Julian Devon, two-way standout along the lines, and their senior linebacker, Luke Mikolajczyk. So, guys, I mean, we'll get right to it. That was that was a pretty epic moment. So you guys win your 7th sectional title, 34-27 in double overtime. So let's get right to the fourth quarter, down 17 points. How did you guys find the way to come back, and what was that like in that fourth quarter, talking amongst yourself, knowing what was in front of you guys if you were going to win the game?
Well, we realized since we were down 17 in the fourth, we had to score quickly.
Yeah.
So be on offense. We just had to keep our head down, go through, and just keep going down, and scoring. And then the forced fumble that was recovered, that only helped to really get the game closer. So yeah.
So early fourth quarter, Owen O'Toole throws a touchdown pass to Scott Venancio, pulls you guys within 2 scores. If it wasn't that touchdown, was there a point in that fourth quarter where you could feel it starting to change the momentum, and you guys really felt like maybe you were starting to control the game? Was there a moment in that quarter?
It was really when Scott scored.
That first one?
It pulled us a little closer, and we realized like we can score now. So especially in our hurry up offense, we realized that we can get at least a little closer. So
yeah, in that overtime, I'm just going to set up. So first touchdown scored by Scott Venancio, cut it to 27-17. Then he had the long touchdown pass to Cole Cashin, 60 yards, which was huge. And then the tying field goal to send it to overtime.
How about the sidelines? How into it were they when that comeback started?
I think as soon as we recovered that fumble, the sideline was jumping. The student section was jumping. We got a great support around here. I'd say just at that moment, sideline really came into play. Energy was great. I think from there we knew we could take it.
Sometimes it takes a turnover to just turn all the momentum around.
And that was Marshall Halfacre, right? I
Yes.
think on the fumble recovery. And that seemed like at the time, just talking to our guy Matt Manley was covering the game. I mean, obviously Raritan ran the ball really well. I think late third quarter, early fourth quarter, you guys recover a fumble just inside midfield. Why was that? Obviously, it's a turnover, but why at that moment did you guys feel like that was a chance where you could start to flip the game?
I feel like time was running out. I think that happened just at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
We kind of realized, it's now or never. We've been working for this moment since, we lost against Woodrow Wilson last year. We realized it's now or never. We really want this. We got to really go all out for it.
Julian, Falzone ran for 300 yards in that football game. That usually doesn't produce L's. That usually produces W's. Tell us a little bit about that kid and how you dug down deep to finally stop
especially
him.
like late in the game, you guys were able to stop him. So how'd you guys?
He was definitely one of probably the best running back I've seen so far.
Yeah.
But we really made the switch when we switched to our goal line defense to really stop the run because we had to do something. So we did our goal line defense and it led.
So goal line in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
So you guys, you're down 17. Again, you got to make something happen. Once that final play happens in double overtime, I think it was Bo that intercepted that pass.
Yeah.
And you guys won. Like, what that immediate emotion? What is that like? Knowing what it took, not just all season to get there, but what you need to do in those final 12 minutes plus OT.
It's hard to put in words because we worked so long for it, so it's just hard to put in words what the feeling was like just to finally win it.
Last sectional title before this was in 2018, so it's been a little bit. Not for most teams they take that, but for you guys, it's been a little bit. You're in the championship game last season, all that stuff, but we talk about 7th sectional championship all since 2010, 9th straight year in a sectional final. Is that a game, Luke, you think just the culture that you guys have developed over the past 10 plus years that comes out in a game like that? Because it just seemed like you guys, when the pressure was at its highest, like you guys felt fine and you just had that confidence that you were going to pull it out.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Rumson, we win sectional finals. It's what we do.
Yeah.
You play for the people who come in front of you. You play for the people that, are going to play after you. I think our coaches, like you said before, they're experienced. They know what to do in this situation. So just listen to them, follow their game plan, and we'll be all right.
Luke, you're playing back there at safety, right?
Yeah, before this year, yeah.
Okay, kid carries the ball 39 times. Give me your numbers from that game. I'm sure you got them.
My numbers?
Yeah, how many tackles?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
I don't know. How many did I have?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
My point is that he carried the ball 39 times. He didn't score every time.
You probably stopped him a bunch.
You probably were in on quite a few, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You were number 33,
18.
battling all day.
Yeah.
18. Coach just yelled out 18.
18?
That had to be the most of your career,
I mean,
probably.
it's pretty good,
It
I
is.
guess. It's okay. It's a couple. I want to, and I asked Coach Schulte about this, but you guys typically the formula is play awesome defense, run the ball. Yeah, it's not rare. High school teams do that. This year, I know it's been a little different. You guys have thrown the ball a ton, and you found great success with it. And you have a sophomore quarterback who certainly looks like he's going to be really, really good for the next couple of years. But in a championship game, like you guys are seniors, like if you don't win that game, that's it. When you saw him in that fourth quarter just sitting back there throwing darts, making huge plays, like how awesome is that? Because that's a sophomore. You don't know how he's going to perform in that moment. And, I mean, he did everything you guys needed to engineer that comeback.
Yeah. Well, he's been doing it all season, so it was nothing really new to see. But it was just in that moment we really needed him to do it. So and he did it. So.
Yeah, no, I'd say he did.
Okay, I got some serious questions now.
Oh, yeah. Walter Cronkite. Here we go.
Luke, we talked about the weight room at Rumson, okay? Everybody's in there during the summer, on weight training days during the season. Who's putting up the most pounds in there? And if it's you.
That's a good one. That's a new question
If
for
it's
Ed.
new, tell me. If it's you, tell me, I mean.
Yeah, I'm up there.
You're up there?
Yeah, I'm up there.
That's what I like to hear.
Okay, Julian, what do you think? You going to pick out your buddy here?
Oh, I'd say it's either him, Cooper Bonnell Jr.
Okay.
He's a beast in
Yeah,
there.
he's a house.
Marshall's definitely up there. I mean, pound for pound, Ryan Kalman. He's got to be up there pound for pound.
Okay, there
yeah,
you
he's
go.
a monster in there.
Pretty good. I believe six interceptions on the season. He's up there.
7.
The short 7 now. That's right.
7.
7 now. So
Okay,
pretty
Luke,
good.
who's the guy? I mean, this looks like a very serious team to me, I mean, you go about your business, but who's the guy that makes you laugh all the time?
I mean, you might not see him on the field too much, but Jack Thomas, he's one of our best buddies. He's definitely, a shout out to him, he's definitely the jokester on the team.
Yeah, Julie.
Yeah, him or Scott Venancio.
Yeah.
Okay,
love it.
That sounds good. Then who's the guy you got to say, okay, that's it, cool it, let's get serious about this? Him?
Yeah, probably Scott Venancio.
It makes sense. The
Yeah.
comedians, you got to quiet down.
Yeah.
Okay, how about the midweek pasta parties, right? You have them?
Team
Yeah.
dinners.
Before
Yeah.
game, the
Every
team
Thursday.
dinners? Okay, who's the guy that eats the most at those parties?
Yeah,
Caden.
who's throwing it down?
Caden Winters,
Yeah.
he's always eating. You can see him going up for 3 or 4 plates.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just always eating.
Lyman?
Yeah, lineman.
I-
There
yeah.
you go.
Figured. I always like one day, like, no, he's like a D-back. He's like 150 pounds. He eats all the food. Well, just one time I want to hear that.
Okay, you guys are obviously looking forward to this one, okay? Sunday, I'm making the trip down to Cherokee. Beautiful stadium, you guys are going to love it down there. First time you guys have ever been there, correct?
Yes.
Willingboro, freshman quarterback. They score some points, although they are 6-5, What's the matchup look like on film? I'm sure you've watched it all week.
I mean, I feel like a 6-5 record doesn't define who they are. You could say that about us too. They've played a hell of a schedule just like us. I'd say their running back's really good, so I feel like if we limit them, make a freshman, he's not used to this type of big game.
That's right.
Make him throw, get him in uncomfortable positions, and I think our defense is going to really exceed expectations this week.
Luke said a little bit before in terms of the expectations this program has, but even at 0-2 and early in the year, especially considering the division you guys play in, did you feel good all along? Like this, where you guys are at now, I imagine with this program, like this was the goal and the expectation. You guys probably figured, whatever, get into the playoffs and we'll figure out then. I mean, just speak to that calmness within the program where there's no panic from week to week. Like you guys know what you want to do, and there's that patience to let it play out until you get to the playoffs.
Well, Coach Schulte always said, make it through the regular season, we'll be in a good spot for the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So I just knew that if we go into the playoffs, considering our regular season, who we played, I think it'll go well into the playoffs.
And we mentioned the other teams in Willingboro, of course, you're playing. The other two teams in North Jersey are both 11-0. They're all good teams when you get to this stage. But how excited are you guys for this opportunity? It is the first year we're playing down to true public school state champions. Again, it's pretty fitting you guys are in it, but how excited are you guys for this opportunity, this group to go out and not just keep winning, but to make some history?
We're very excited. Very, very excited for this opportunity.
Good stuff. Well, guys, this has been great to have you guys on. As we said, years we've tried to have Rumpson on, but you guys end up practicing the same time we have the show. So, again, just keep winning sectional championships, and we'll have you on.
Yeah.
So it'll be all good. So
Book this same time next year.
we'll put it in.
Same week.
Yes.
We'll slide it right in. But we do thank you guys for coming down here, and congratulations on the win, because that was
Thank you.
that was pretty tremendous. I'm sitting there after covering the Tom's North thing, just refreshing Twitter like a lunatic, trying to see what happened. So, and a truly epic win. I know you guys enjoyed it, but you've since moved on. So, again, thanks for coming down, and best luck against Willingboro.
Thank you for having us.
That's Rumson Fairhaven seniors Julian Devlin and Luke Mikolajak. Outstanding season, and it continues this Sunday, against Willingboro. We thank those guys for coming on. We'll take a quick break. Kevin will come back, and we'll talk a little bit more about what to expect this weekend. You're watching the Varsity Link Coaches Corner on the Shore Sports Network.
And they let me come back up top. Welcome back to the Varsity Link Coaches Corner here on the Shore Sports Network. Couple of notes here. number one, not a reminder. We will not have a show next Wednesday because it is Thanksgiving Eve, and that traditionally is a fairly big bar restaurant night.
Just a little bit.
Just a little
Nobody
bit.
wants us.
Nobody
in
wants
there.
us.
As much as I think we do a great show every week, nobody wants us there on.
Nick at the office said we could do it from the parking lot if we wanted to, but that was about it.
I am like far back in the park. I'm not going to be in a room.
But 2 weeks from tonight, we'll be back at the office lounge in Toms River, and we'll keep you updated throughout what we are doing. Also, want to remind you, our sponsor is Varsity Link. That is the athletes app, and if you are an athlete of any kind, you should download the Varsity Link app on your phone. It's a place to put your information if you're thinking about maybe wanting to play at the next level. It's also a place where you could network with other athletes from different schools or your own school. So make sure if you're, I've done this, I've been in this business for a long, long time, I mean, like horse and buggies when I started. And I always say, if you're listening, well, if you're listening, you're listening, right? And if you're not, you're not. But if you're watching and listening,
Go over that again.
Listening.
download the Varsity Link app right now. Although if you're my age, don't bother because your window closed a long time ago. So there you go. Back with Bob and Ed, and of course here at MJ's. So, and then there were three, right? That's sort of been our theme. So we have Toms River North playing Edison Saturday at 5:30 at Cherokee. And again, if you want to get tickets to these games, you got to go on njsiaa.org, and you can buy the tickets right there. And if you show up without a ticket and you throw a $20 bill, you're not getting in. Well, unless I was at the door and I take the 20 and let you the heck in, you can sit on the 50.
No one's letting you at the door then.
That's for sure. So Toms River North in Edison, Saturday night, 5:30 at Cherokee. Bob will be there. Do we expect much of a game? Do you think North continues to steamroll?
I'm never going to count any team out when the state semifinals, but Toms River North is the favorite team. I mean, how can you not say it at this point? Edison 9-3, played a pretty good schedule and really have won some really important games towards the end of the year. They have a quarterback, Matt Yasko, is throwing for 1,700 yards. They have a sophomore running back, Nikir Ito, has ran for over 1,200 yards, and a really good receiver, Malcolm Stansberry. So the talent's there, obviously. I'm not really concerned about what they have on offense. And for them, too, it's going to be defensively, can you even slow down that Toms River North offense? Because if you don't, you better score 51 points to win the game. Because that's how it's been with them. So, look, Edison's, it's a tall order for them. I've said this since about midway through the season watching North. The only team on their schedule that can beat North is Toms River North. If they don't commit some bad penalties or just have mistakes in general, it's hard to see a team slowing them down and beating them in a four-quarter game.
Yeah. But I'll go back to what you also said. If you've gotten to this point where you've won a sectional title and you're a state semifinalist, you're a damn good football team.
Yeah, you can't. There are favorites, but you're not going to, perceived favorites, but you're not going to. You can't count anyone out at this stage.
The really scary thing for opponents of Toms River North is that they are so young. Almost every skill kid is back next year, and expect them to continue what they did this year next year.
I mean, they lose some key players, as does every team on a yearly basis, but they are extremely sophomore and junior laden still.
Yeah.
So the core of that team will return next year, and they will certainly be. Look, I don't want to. They still got 2 games to play in this season, but they're going to be a team that is going to be reckoned with again.
And
next
you know
season.
what? Real quick, I've noticed it just seems like a lot of the better teams this year have so many kids back, have so many underclassmen. Listen, Jeremy brought down 2 of his outstanding seniors, but man, he's got some offensive skill players who will be back next year. And I love the quarterback. I saw him play for the first time against Middletown South, and I said, this kid has no fear which for a sophomore is just very unusual.
Very
you know.
impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
All right, so we talked about obviously Rumson and Willingboro, and then you have, in the non-public B, you have Red Bank Catholic at home against Holy Spirit, a team from South Jersey that's been good for many, many years.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
Spirit has had a tremendous
Driving
program.
up there from Atlantic City on Route 9, you pass
Yeah,
it right there in Absecon.
Absolutely, and of course, I know, Bob, you'll be there Friday night as part of your triple header this weekend. I'll be up there. Steve and I will be up there with the Butcher's Block Game Day countdown at RBC. What do we know about Holy Spirit?
I mean, it's like you said, it's a traditionally strong program, always in the mix in non-public B. It's going to be a really tough game. RBC number 4 in the state, Holy Spirit 13. So clearly this is a very good team RBC is going to face. You look at last season, they didn't really have a challenging game until they got to the championship game, beat DePaul. I mean, first round they had the big blowout, and they really easily took care of St. Joe's Hamilton in the semifinals. This year a lot different. Even though they're the top seed, the Holy Spirit being the 4 seed, tough game, and then the winner probably will have DePaul in the championship game. But DePaul's a really good team too. So, look, RBC they have all the talent. They're really good on offense. They're really good on defense. Good running backs, good line, good receiver. Again, it's a really good
Complete
team.
package.
I think that's going to be a very good game that Friday night.
Yeah, what I do know about Holy Spirit, besides being an outstanding program, is that a familiar friend of ours, Bob Fiacco, after he retired, he knew the head coach down at Holy Spirit, and the head coach asked him to come down and help, and sure enough, Bob was making that trip to South Jersey to Holy Spirit just about every day to help out with the defense, and they were very good back then.
Yeah, they will challenge the secondary of RBC. They throw the ball a lot. I mean, their quarterback's throwing for just about 2,500 yards. So a little bit, you don't face teams that throw the ball that kind of volume every week. That's a different kind of game plan than what you're used to. So that's something to look out for. They're going to sit back and they're going to throw the ball. And RBC is going to have to get a pass rush or defend well in the back end.
We are in uncharted territory, though, right? We're making history this weekend.
I do too.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it.
I'm glad the way it worked.
Yeah, we've talked about it forever, and I just think that the way it's set up, I like it.
I think they did a good job, the state, the way they set it up.
Yeah. Usually, you don't say good job in the state in the same breath, but. I agree with you. I think they did. It's 2 more games maximum. Only 2 teams are going to play in each group. We're going to play that second game, right? So, I mean, and we're going to end the same weekend as we ended the last few years, the first weekend of December.
Exactly.
But we're only going to have 10 teams playing. That's it. The parochials finish up the week before.
There will be 7
next
champions instead of
what,
500 or whatever.
No, seriously, right? Wasn't there 20?
It was 20, and then so it was
22.
And then even going back to when there was non-public, Group 1 all the way through 4, and 24, or around 20 before they went to Group 5. Point is, there was a lot of state sectional champions, and this has been in the works for a while.
It's not as good for guys who are in the varsity jacket letter business because you can't have 22 teams with state champs.
That is true.
Now you can only have 7, but I think it'll mean more than it's ever meant before. And I don't take anything away. First of all, sectional title is a tremendous accomplishment. They don't take that away from you. This is just a little icing on the cake.
It's like every other sport that there is in the state. You play down to state champions in your group. There's some tournament champions, not anymore, but there was. Now you play down to your state champion. How many years have we said, man, if only this team could play this team?
Exactly.
And we got a taste of it with the bowl games. Now you get the whole thing. So if you win that group title, in this state, how good football is in New Jersey, I don't care what group you're in, that is an amazing accomplishment that should really be celebrated. This is the first year we get to do it, so I'm excited to cover them.
Yeah, by the way, real quick, the opposite side of that bracket with Toms River North, 2 unfamiliar teams to everybody, Passaic Tech and West Orange.
Yes.
2 teams we don't know a whole lot about.
West Orange upset Phillipsburg to win that title up there, and that was
bracket, right?
Most people figured Phillipsburg would get through that, so –
they're 8-3, and Passaic Tech is 10-2.
Yeah,
I mean, sounds like we're going to air conditioning school up at Passaic Tech.
That's a gigantic school, by the way.
Is it really? Yeah,
like almost.
Don't they
around
have
3,000 kids? I believe it gets up there.
They have a lot
of school,
a lot of the baseball finals at that facility? I think.
You're asking
So
the
they
wrong
must
guy.
have.
He's
They
like,
may
"Call
have.
Matt."
They may have some tremendous facilities.
Well, I
up
heard
there.
after Phillipsburg lost, they challenged him to a wrestling
Wrestling match.
right on the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so it'll be fun this weekend, and we'll be following. And of course, Bob, all three of the games involving the Shore teams, Bob will be out for the Shore Sports Network, and keep following him. You can follow him on Twitter, and he'll have updates throughout those three games for sure. And hope you do follow him, and we wish our Shore teams the best. I would love it if we wake up on Monday with three teams still playing. That would be awesome.
This is my favorite time of the year for a bunch of reasons, and one, I can be an unabashed, just full homer and just root for
Absolutely.
our teams. We're playing out of area teams, so
Yeah.
I could be a little bit more slanted, I guess you could say.
Yeah, we can openly root for Rumson, Toms River North, and Red Bank Catholic, and wish them well, and hope they bring it hoping. Thanks again to our friends from Rumson, especially head coach Jeremy Schulte. We really appreciate it. And the two guys were awesome. They were a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed having them with us, and we wish them luck for hopefully a couple more weeks of football, and then in whatever their future plans hold. Thanks to, of course, Steve Meyer and Tom Tremblay for making it all work. The people here at MJ's who are nice to host us. And have been great partners all season long. And I think that's going to do it. Since we're not on next Wednesday, I'll give you the very early happy Thanksgiving from everyone at the Shore Sports Network. My favorite holiday of the year. I love it. It's not commercialized. It's just pure football, family, and fun.
And food.
And food. I forgot that one. Man, you forget the food.
I'm putting food first.
Yeah, I know you. Well, that'll do it. I think it's time for us to go. So for all of us, we do wish you a very, very early happy Thanksgiving. And I hope you'll be with us in 2 weeks when we're back on the air on November 30th. A very good evening, everyone. For all of us, you've been watching the Varsity Link Coaches Corner on the Shore Sports Network.